Okay, so today I'm going to want to talk to you about some pitfalls people have. So, a lot of times, everybody's trying to get started in their emails, and so which is awesome. You want to take action. You always want to do that, but you want to avoid these mistakes. So, I have these 7 mistakes a lot of people do use when they're building their lists that you want to avoid. And so these are the 7. So first of all is have a clear value proposition. So again, is we have a lead magnet. If you haven't seen my video on the lead magnet, I have a whole video on that. You want to make sure that you have something clearly defined that people will want. And so it's very important to do that. So make sure it's very clear what you have to offer and everything like that. So if it's too generic, then no one's going to know what it is, and so it's going to be hard for people to even want what you have. And so if they don't know what it is, they won't sign up. So that's mistake number 1. So make sure you always have a good lead magnet, whatever it is. Test multiple things. You can have more than one. Don't rely on just one lead magnet as well. It's you want to look for your audience. You want to have a good, clear who your audience is, and see which one they're looking for as well. One may work better than the other, or maybe both will, and you have 2 different entry points into your email list. The second thing is asking for too much information. So many times people get very zealous. It's like, oh, I have all these emails, but man, I would love to have your name, your email address, where do you live, your phone number, all those things. And that's, a lot of people talk about, oh, I need to get their phone number so you can SMS them because it has higher open rates. And there is some truth to that, but the problem is the more you ask for, the less people opt in. So if you're looking at, say you have a 20% opt-in rate, you start asking for more information, it'll go down to 10, maybe even 5% at that point of people that are giving you that more information. Once you have them on your list and they start to trust you and maybe buying one of your products, then you're going to get that information from them. But when you're just starting out, especially for cold traffic and you're just building a list, the last thing you want to do is ask for anything more. Even their name will actually decline how much people will be willing to opt in. So if it's a must for you, I guess you can do it. But just realize that if you do, you're likely not you're gonna see a big decline in number of people that actually opt in. So be careful with that. And so you could put your name if you want, put their name if you want, or first name or something like that. But really, I would just go with email to start with, because that's normally where everybody's most comfortable with. You'll maximize your opt-in rates at that point. The next mistake is generic call to actions. And this goes back to be, if you're everything to everybody, you're nothing to nobody. And so you really want to make this kind of interesting. Get your free guide now, for example, is a good CTA. If you just say, join our newsletter or sign up for more information, it really isn't that interesting. Or like subscribe now or submit. Submit is like the default on a lot of buttons, so some people have that. So you really want to avoid those types of things. Do it. It's part of your brand. You might as well do it. Might as well make it interesting. Make it a directive that you want people to do, and it's important that you want to do that a lot, because otherwise people just won't find it interesting. They won't have a reason why they even want to opt in for the most part. So it really declines on how many people will opt in. The next one is ignoring mobile optimization. So we talked about before where 70 to 80% of your leads will likely be from mobile. So that's the key that you want to make sure that you are following is mobile optimization. So you want to make sure it looks like on a mobile device. Either test it on your personal phone, or you can do it on a browser and just do like Chrome browser. You can do inspect, and you can bring it up as a mobile side of things. So both of those ways are super important, because if 80% of people viewing your pages are on mobile, then you want it to be viewable there. And it's really, really important this day and age, especially most page builders out there are mobile, automatically mobile optimized. So it shouldn't be anything you shouldn't do automatically. It's really do yourself a disservice if you don't follow along. The next mistake is following up, failing to follow up immediately. So the idea is that you have someone opt in, and then for some reason there's no follow up for whatever amount of time. You what you want to do is when someone opts in, it doesn't have to be immediately they get the email, but you want it within a half hour to be sent to the person. You don't want to wait hours. You don't want to wait days for it to be delivered. So if you're going to have something, make sure it's delivered right away. Set up automation to do that, whatever system you want to use. Make sure you have that all set up, because it's really important. Because as soon as you don't deliver on one thing, the first thing they opt into, then all of a sudden, well, shoot, why would I listen to this person after that? And you start to lose them right away. So make sure you're not doing that. And then next thing is just not promoting your opt-in form enough. So you have a lot of stuff that you have to offer. A lot of times it's like you go and you create all this stuff, and you're not promoting it enough. You want to get out there everywhere. You want to be proud of what you're doing, and doesn't matter if it's perfect. It's probably not perfect. Let's just be real. It's if you're just starting out and you're new, it's not perfect. Okay, so that's okay. But it doesn't. You want to get used to promoting yourself and what you have to offer, because it's a muscle, and the more you learn to promote, the more you get it out there. Your opt-in rates may not be perfect in the beginning, but there's always iterations. And so don't be worried about being perfect just for stopping or not putting it out there, or embarrassed about what other people think of you. And that's a big thing too, is like, I'm an imposter. I'm just starting with this. I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't want to be embarrassed by my friends and family. Well, your friends and family may say something, which is fine. You know what? If they do say something and they berate you for it, then they probably weren't good friends and family to begin with. Unfortunately, that happens. But you're gonna have to go through that anyway, and it's better to do it sooner than later. And we all kind of have, whenever you're trying to change something, it's a big issue. But everybody's been in the beginning. So if you're just starting, it's your first thing, it looks terrible, whatever, you got it out there, you did it. The idea is that you want to iterate and learn from it. It comes from being more of instead of trying to be perfect, you're just trying to learn. So if you think about, I am learning this, I'm pushing it out and getting it out there, then you're going to be much more successful that way than if you go and you play small and then you get discouraged and then you stop. I won't want anybody to stop, because once you stop, then nothing else happens. You never grow again. And so that's really what you want to avoid. And the last mistake, which is very common, unfortunately, is people buy email lists. So there's email lists out there you can do, and there's good ways to promote to those email lists. So there are good ways, but what happens is a lot of times people buy an email list, like whatever interest they are, they buy them and they get them in a USB drive or a file or something like that, and then they try to import them and start to send emails to these lists. Well, you haven't warmed them up. They didn't opt into anything. And so there's a lot of issues that could come up with spam. They don't know you, so the open rates are going to be horrendous, which is going to be horrible for your open rates, and then your domain reputation will go down. And so all of these things, it seems cool that, I can buy a 20,000 person list, but most of the time that list is terrible. Most of the time it's old. Most of the time there's no reason for them to even be there. So there are email, you can promote to an email list of someone that's cultivating it as a promotion to then get them onto your email list. There's that type of thing. But if you're just going to buy a plain old list, and it's probably pretty cheap because they've sold it to hundreds of people, The last thing you want to do is get into anything like that. And so, really, that's what you want to do. And make sure that you're starting off on the right foot. So you can start out, starting out slow is not a bad thing, because a lot of times you have some of those people you first bring in, you're going to be talking to directly. It really is a one-to-one type of emails. But as you grow, those people will grow with you. And so I've seen where people been on email lists for years, and all of a sudden they're like their best customer one day. And so never give up on that. Never realize the what the benefits can come out of that. So realize that. So the 7 mistakes is making sure that you have a clear proposition. Don't get asked for too much information at the beginning. Don't have generic calls to actions. Don't ignore mobile operations. Failing to follow up immediately. You don't want to do that as well. And, not promoting enough. And of course, don't buy email lists that are dead leads. So those things are the 7 mistakes to see a lot. And hopefully this helps you guys build your email list at faster and more reliable rates. Thanks.